Hi there guys, Sam here, welcome back to another video. Join me once again in my Mark 7 Golf R to talk a little bit around this 45 edition Golf GTI Clubsport, which I announced and sort of mentioned last week. And yeah, it seemed to be quite popular. So I've got a few more details that I found out about the car and yeah, discuss that with you lot. So yes, welcome back to another video. I hope everyone is all well. So yeah, quite a lot of interest in this car actually, unsurprisingly being a sort of a limited special type edition car. VW bringing this out for their 45th anniversary of the GTI. Yeah, and a lot of owners and a lot of previous owners of sort of like edition models got in touch as well, and they were sort of like, what's this all about? So I thought I'd try to explain a little bit more what's kind of added to this car above a normal GTI. I've also found a couple more images as well, so I'll put a few of them on as well. So yes, let me start straight away by just reading through what I've found out. So prices, it says, will start at around, in Germany, it says around 47,700 euros, which correlates to about £41,000. So yeah, expect it to be £40,000. There you go in the UK. So not cheap, around or more than the price of a base Golf R. Yeah, yeah, I'm rolling my eyes too at the price of these hot hatches. There's a few cosmetic and I think a few interior tweaks as well. I've got an interior image up on screen. Yeah, let me know if you see a huge radical difference over a standard Clubsport. But it is very confusing actually, and I do agree with people who are sort of saying to me, what's the difference between this and a Clubsport, and then what's the point of a normal GTI? And yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know how many more models or how much more VW can milk the GTI before eventually, yeah, it probably ends up just phasing out, unfortunately, with yeah, the way the future's kind of going. So as standard with this edition, you get 19-inch alloy wheels, matrix LED lights, a larger tailgate spoiler than the Clubsport. I don't know how it can get any bigger, but it has managed to get bigger. Black roof, which I mentioned before, those unique decals and the 45 badge, but also an Akrapovic exhaust. Now, I'm not 100% sure if this is completely standard, but it's says it's fitted to it. If that is standard, well, we know the price of Akrapovic exhausts run into the thousands, so that's quite a good thing to have as standard on a car. And having heard TCRs from the Mark 7 with an Akrapovic exhaust, they sound ridiculously good. So that's quite a cool thing to throw on, because that's like £3,000 straight away. In terms of power, it's identical to the Clubsport. So 296 brake horsepower, nothing has changed in that regard. So that's interesting. So yeah, the performance stats are exactly the same as the Clubsport. You know, no revisions in the gearbox, it's still the same. 7-speed DSG, no manual option. Yeah, very, very similar. And I think a few people mentioned in the comments in the previous video, they think the paint is dolphin grey. So it looks like a dolphin. Again, yeah, it's always cool when a new hot hatch comes to market because it looks great. But let's be honest, this is a car which is, they're kind of, I think they're taking the mickey a little bit more than even, even by their standards or by manufacturers' standards, trying to get the most out of their brand. Because the previous, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, the TCR, the previous model, you could have that of an Akrapovic exhaust, and wasn't that supposed to be the sort of like equivalent to what the Clubsport is now? So what they're doing is they're doing the 45 edition, which is exactly the same as the Clubsport, but they're putting a few more options, I'm hoping, as standard, and hopefully charging people less for it, and maybe making a limited run, if that makes any sense. The Akrapovic exhaust is probably the main thing, because that is a few £1,000s. Yeah, the styling tweaks, it's everyone's personal taste. I think it looks great. I've always liked hot, sporty GTI Golfs, so there's nothing wrong with that side. But yeah, there's no, you know, don't expect a radically different car in the way it's driving dynamics. You know, the suspension, everything is identical to a Clubsport. So yeah, you're very much getting it for that sort of 45 decal on the side. So that kind of hopefully explains a little bit more for you guys if you're interested to know what that car's about in a little bit more detail. Yeah, a car that's going to be around the £40,000 mark, again, isn't cheap, but then nothing seems to be cheap these days in the automotive world. Will it mean that they'll, I mean, how many more models can they fit in? You know, I was speaking to a subscriber and I was sort of saying it'd be nice if they actually brought out something really, truly special, like they did with the Clubsport S. You know, I think 400 units of that car and 150 came to the UK back in 2016. And that was proper special because rear seats were taken out. They really sorted the suspension. Yeah, it was a real cool car. They haven't really done that since 2016. So maybe there'll be something in the Mark 8 in the future. And once that comes out, I'm sure they'll have a high ticket price for it, but it could be a great car. But yeah, for those who've, it's hard, isn't it? Because for those people who've ordered a Clubsport, this immediately devalues the Clubsport, because it's, you know, a paint job and an exhaust. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one to take, and I think this is why it's so difficult in the car industry to keep up. Everything's instant, everything's quick, everything's so rapid these days. And when you're talking about spending nearly £40,000, you can quickly say goodbye to some of the money that you've invested. So yeah, it's hard on that front. And I think it's hard for owners as well to kind of justify getting in there. I'm, yeah, certainly happy sort of seeing my Mark 7 Golf R. I'm not going to lie, I'm not making any moves anytime soon, unless something drastic happens. But again, it would be cool to see it. You know, it'd be great just to go to a VW dealer again and just to see if they've got any hot Golfs on, and yeah, check those out. And yeah, and get back on the road and actually start driving. But yeah, I wanted to explain those. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you think those stats and specs sort of justify a little bit of a premium over a standard Clubsport. And I mean, to be honest with you, if it is £40,000, so that's say £3,000 more than a base Clubsport, and you're getting an exhaust and you're getting those styling tweaks, it's not actually that much more. Well, it's no more expensive. They're just basically saying it's got some options with it. If it comes as standard with that Akrapovic exhaust, that's the main thing. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments around that. Yeah, plenty more sort of content to come. Check out my channel if you enjoy this type of content as always. And yeah, get involved in the comments. It's a community channel. That's what I love so much about it. And yeah, I really always appreciate your support. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.